माननीय सांसद श्री पी चौधरी जी नहीं है। अच्छा,
Thank you, madam. I rise to support this bill. मैं सबसे पहले तो अभी हमारे कांग्रेस के माननीय सांसद ने बिल के बारे में अपनी बात रखी और मुझे लगता है कि एक बात उन्होंने बहुत ही अपनी पार्टी की तरफ से रखी कि क्योंकि गुजरात एक ड्राई स्टेट है और वहाँ दारू नहीं मिलती है, तो इसीलिए ये जो है सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो सकता। जो ये गांधी जी को हमेशा कहते हैं, गांधी जी के सिद्धांत पे अपने आप को बताते हैं कि ये चलने वाले हैं और ये दारू की बात करते हैं कि गुजरात में दारू नहीं होने की वजह से, नहीं मिलने की वजह से ये सेंटर नहीं चल सकता, ये बहुत ही शेमफुल बात है और बहुत ही निंदनीय है। तो इसीलिए अभी मेरे साथी और कह रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस को दारू पार्टी कह दिया जाए, ये तो मैं नहीं कह सकता, लेकिन आप सभी कह रहे हैं तो वो अलग बात है। मैडम, दिस बिल द इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज, वो सेंट्रल हॉल में बात करेंगे। चल
नहीं, आप बैठ जाइए, निशिकांत जी आप बैठ जाइए, आप तो सीनियर है, बैठ जाइए। आप बोलिए, चौधरी साहब इधर देखिए, आप बोलिए। ये कुछ नहीं जाएगा, रिकॉर्ड्स में कुछ नहीं जाएगा, आप बोलिए।
मैडम, दिस द इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज सेंटर अथॉरिटी बिल, प्लीज गौरव जी
छोड़िए ना, चौधरी साहब आप मुझे देखकर बोलते रहिए, टाइम आप बोलिए।
मैडम, द इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल सर्विस सेंटर अथॉरिटी बिल is in fact a game changer for our country. The impact of this bill is immense. And if we ask the first question, how can India become a global financial center, then the complete answer we can find in this bill. And I extend my thanks to Honorable Finance Minister as well as Honorable Prime Minister for their vision for bringing this important legislation before this August House. Because we have adopted the liberalization since 1991. But first time after the expiry of the so many years, we are bringing this bill before this House. And I would also like to make it clear that when this SAGE Act 2005 was enacted, the specific provision was made under Section 18 of the Act that such type of International Financial Services Center Authority can be established in the SAGE, whereby providing the tax exemption and so many other exemptions. But no steps was taken, and this bill is first time is this before this Honorable August House, and I would also like to make it clear that in 2015, first time the decision was taken by the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji for bringing in the GIFT City the international financial services facilities. So apart from this, I would make it clear that in the World Bank report, India is a very bright spot among developing and emerging economies, and on its liberalization, it can achieve more. Now we have seen that various countries, if we see the economic development of the various countries, then these countries have taken the initiative to develop the International Financial Services Center in their country for providing the international financial services. And they have developed the centers. I would like to make the mention of just like New York, London, Frankfurt, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Singapore. And if we see the contribution of these centers, the contribution of these centers in the respective country is immense, with respect to the economic growth, with respect to the job creation, and out of 196 countries in the world, around 80 countries, they have developed their international financial service center, but in India, it is too late, and for years together, nobody have visualized except the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. They have visualized that such type of center is very, very essential for the economic growth of the country. So, despite the fact that India is the largest country, one of the largest country, and we are also large user of international financial services. And despite we are having an open economy. Prior to 1991, we were having the closed economy, but after 1991, we have the open economy. And at present, the India's capital account convertibility is still underdeveloped. Contribution to the global financial market is considered negligible. And so far this global market, if we see today, the entire globe is one. It is well connected with technology. And where the use of technology in our country is immense, so this International Financial Service Center Authority and bringing this bill is need of the hours. If this bill would not have been there, or I can say in absence of this International Financial Service Center, this bill, the country is losing 50 billion US dollar per year. This is a report of 2015 by the Finance Ministry. And by 2025, we will be losing around 120 billion US dollar per year if this bill would not have been enacted. So, international financial services in India is, I can say, the major game changer, and it will certainly boost the economy of the country. It will also boost and will prove a catalyst for the employment generation. Basically, the need to develop an international financial service in India for expansion of the global economic and strategic influence. It is necessary to promote the international financial services, and the benefit of this bill and benefit of this center will be certainly going to the country as well as to the stakeholders, that is also to the capital market. Therefore, it is imperative that and it is also imperative that India's deepening linkages and interdependencies with the world. So it is also necessary because the economy of any country as today depend upon the economy of the other countries. So the India's reliance on foreign funds to finance its current account deficit and large purchases of international financial services from abroad weakens its position globally, with significantly adverse implication on its economic and strategic space, because we are buying we are buying the international services, we are taking financial services from the abroad. So India is basically a large purchaser of international financial services from rest of the world and loses significant revenue from trading of the rupee alone and index derivatives on the foreign platform located outside the country, like we are doing from the Singapore, Dubai and London, and trading in rupee derivative alone. The other thing is, if we count, then it can be more. But the trading in rupee derivatives alone, international financial services, it will increase. How it will benefit? Per day, it will create a revenue, generate the revenue of 1,500 crore rupees per day, and in 1 year, it will generate the revenue of 2 lakh rupees. So that's why I am saying that this bill is a game changer for the economic development of the country, as well as it will also generate the employment. And so far, as on today, we don't have such a center onshore. Everything we are buying from the outside, and that is offshore, and it may be an equity, it may be interest rate derivatives market. So increasingly, we are moving the offshore on account of the development of our economy. And once this trend, then once it is established onshore, then the trend will be reversed, and it will be enabling a regulatory, tax, provident and pension fund investment policies. Onshore activities will be increased, and that is a need of the hour. So far that they were talking about the gift city, but I would like to make it for the gift city in Gujarat. So decision was taken by the Modi government in 2015 for establishing a gift city in Gandhinagar, Ahmedabad. So in initial 50 days, the banking transaction, if we see it, the banking reported only banking transactions of 100 million US dollar. So now they were saying that it can't, because from the Congress side it has been said that it can't be a successful model here in India, especially in a Gujarat, where the the prohibition is there and the daru and sarab is not available there. But I will like to make it clear that the India's comparative advantage are so many, not one. The one is the location is such that to serve all time zones, we can serve all time zones. And secondly, long-standing trading and cultural ties globally we are having, and at the same time, we are having the capital, talent, what we need thereafter, because we are having, and we will also need it. We will be needed talent, capital, excellent infrastructure, and regulatory best practices. What I request the Honorable Minister that kindly see it, that in this center we must have a talent, we must have sufficient capital, and we must have an excellent infrastructure of the world standard and regulatory best practices for that purpose. The sufficient safeguard have been taken in the bill itself for providing the regulatory best practices. And apart from this, why India should be preferred? The other people will prefer, other countries will prefer India because the lower real estate, this is also one of the reasons, and wage cost in our country is lower in comparison to other centers where the international financial centers are available, like Tokyo, like New York, Shanghai, and Hong Kong, and Singapore. So we are having the wage cost is lower than these provided at these countries. And apart from this, we are having the professionals. We are having the competent persons. There is no dearth of the pool of the professional in our country. We are having the technical skills. So many technical, because the use of technology will be immense, therefore that is provided in our country. Then we are also having the finance brain in the finance, whereas these things are lacking in those countries where the financial centers are there. And apart from this, Madam Speaker, I would also like to make it clear that India is a hinterland economy, and the Singapore, Dubai, these lack these facilities. This is not provided. Like New York, the US is there. Like London, the entire Europe is there. Hong Kong, Chennai is there. But so we can develop it immensely. So it is wrong to say that after coming into force of this bill, this act, it will not function properly. It can work very well in view of because we are having the hinterland economy. And it is also the initiative taken by the Finance Ministry about this. We have to compete with the Dubai, Singapore, and Hong Kong. And apart from this, after establishment of this center, we have faced and we have seen the agony of the brain drain. Now it will be again, the situation will be reversed. We will have a brain gain. The result will be again the re-importing of Indian securities and market. And for sustainable growth and development of the country, manufacturing sector alone will not be sufficient. Therefore, the Honorable Finance Minister rightly said that not only the manufacturing sector, but we have to develop ourselves. In this zone also center, the service sectors, the financial services sector, IT and IT-enabled services, it can also be boost the economy on this count also and generate the employment. So again, I can say at the cost of repetition that this bill and this provision for establishment of international financial services center authority can prove a catalyst for these services. So far, we are talking about so many times GDP index, but at the same time, we should not fail. The one more index is very important in our country because we are having a very different setup from centuries together. That is a happiness index. So along with the GPD index, we have to harmonize the balance. We have to strike the good balance. So looking to for last 5 years, the Narendra Modi government has initiated the schemes. और उन लोगों के लिए समाज के अंतिम छोर पे जो व्यक्ति बैठा है उन लोगों के लिए योजना हुई है, चाहे उनके गैस के चूल्हे की हों, चाहे उनके घर की हों, और चाहे उनके शौचालय की हों, और चाहे उनको आयुष्मान भारत में 5 लाख रुपए देने की हो, 50 करोड़ जनता को कवर करने की हो, तो ये सारे के सारे जो हैं वो उस समय हमारे जीडीपी ग्रोथ हो सकता है कि 15-16 में हमारी ज़्यादा थी, लेकिन जो आज हैप्पीनेस इंडेक्स की जो बात आती है, जब हम बात करते हैं, तो वी हैव टू सी अलोंग विद आल्सो जीडीपी द हैप्पीनेस इंडेक्स इज इंक्रीजिंग, एंड इन द कमिंग ईयर if such type of bills are brought, then certainly if such type of bills are there, then certainly the economic growth will be immense, as I stated. Madam, in India, we have seen then that the financial sector and regulation and reforms, so far these financial sectors are there, the commercial bank, insurance companies, non-banking financial companies, cooperative, pension fund, mutual fund, and for these financial sectors, the regulators are like RBI dealing with commercial bank and urban cooperative bank, financial institution, non-banking financial institution, NABARD dealing with the regional rural banks, cooperative banks, and National Housing Bank dealing with the housing finance companies, and DCA, Department of Corporate Affairs, dealing with corporate deposits. And so this is a dual. So far the cooperative is concerned, their management is with the state or with the central government, depending upon the nature of the cooperative society, whether it is a multi-state cooperative society or a state cooperative society. And so far the banking part is concerned, that is with the regulators. So to remove this dichotomy, and apart from this, the SEBI dealing with the capital market, mutual fund sectors, IRDA dealing with the insurance sector, and FERDA dealing with the pension fund. So different regulators for different sectors are there, and this bill is going to unify all these sectors, all these regulators. Whatever the powers which are being exercised by those regulators will be exercised by the particular authority. So it will be very easy and convenient, and it will enhance the ease of doing business. And Madam, the salient feature of the present regulation, and we see that financial regulation based on the product regulation, depending upon, so it is covered by a different acts. Various acts and various enactments are there, and all these acts and enactments, so that, and in case we see each product separately regulated by the institutes. So many institutes are there. In second schedule we see so many institutes, the amendment have been done with respect to a particular provision, giving power and authorizing the authority to exercise the power with respect to that act. And so far the earlier, if we see the earlier one, the work allocation, with respect to various regulators, with respect to various sectors, the allocation was not so defined. Sometimes the overlapping was there, sometimes the dispute arose, so it created a lot of problem for a particular sector by the particular regulators. So problem with multiple regulators in India was there. Now the different regulatory requirement, so far the challenges in those were, just a minute, I am completing, madam. So regulatory gap was there. Just like we have seen the Ponzi schemes, on account of this regulatory gap in these various sectors and the regulators. So the Ponzi schemes, it was a gap. So they have taken the advantage of the situation, and people have been cheated. So these the Ponzi schemes were not regulated by any of the existing agencies. So the overlap of the law and agencies were there on account of the conflict of the regulator. That problem was always there. So the financial legislative structure in India is concerned, almost as on today, we are having the 60 acts and multiple rules and regulations dealing with since 1950 to 1960. At that time, these acts were, the purpose and motto of and spirit of these acts and legislation was to banning certain financial activities. And the so far RBI Act, if we see, that was enacted way back in 1934. Insurance Act 1938, SEBI Act 1956. Now on account of the change of financial landscape, because at that time the financial landscape was different, now it is different. Now at that time the ATM time was not there, credit card my party time is there, madam. Don't worry, we will adjust it. My party time is
बोलने का है
there. So ATM time was there, ATM is there, credit card, internet banking, investment, advisory services, private banking, and so many modern, based on modern technology. So these enactments are the old one, and basically the FDI, they were facing tremendous hardship, and this bill will provide the ease of doing business. So reform in financial sector is concerned. So globalized world, the growing interconnection between the various countries, and this, so that's why the online. And finally, madam,
श्री Anand ji.
yes, I will complete, madam. So now in this present bill,
समाप्त
madam, if we see the authority has been constituted, and if we see the composition of the authority, after the appointment of the chairman by the government, from the various sectors, from the various regulators, it may be from the sectors, one person is being nominated on this committee, and 2 persons will be from the finance ministry. So the composition is outstanding, and it will function extraordinarily. At the same time, in the bill also, it is provided that apart from the function of the authority, it is also provided the performance review committee. The performance review committee will adjudge the working of the authority and time to time report to the government of India with respect to its functioning. And the tax exemption has also been provided. And I again support this bill. Thank you very much, madam.